because they're trying
Ladies
to
and
do the
gentlemen,
right thing. And
boys
can
and
never get
girls, idealists and visionaries. I'm your boy, Ideal Tone, and I'm here to make it known that we are back with another episode of Binge Cringe. And we are officially back. Okay, I know we did an episode a few weeks ago. I think in September, maybe end of August, something like that. We are officially back.
He's still wearing his jail stripes.
Hey. Okay, this is not jail stripes. This is
He's doing
genuine.
time. Doing hard time.
This is genuine stripes. Okay,
yeah, doing time.
this is genuine
stripes, not
Genuine.
jail stripes.
Genuine. Okay, all right. You got to think about it. Like, what is a zebra, black or is it white?
I mean, I ask him that question every day, and he's always white. He's always white. Don't let his skin tone fool you. That man is as white as snow.
But
Don't let the Philly in him fool you.
Oh God! But we are back. We are live for another episode of Binge Cringe. I'm your boy Ideal Tone, and I've always make that known. And we are going to be discussing an anime today that came out at the beginning of the year, and when it came out, it hit heavy. It did hit heavy. It hit heavy.
Out of the top slot. First episode killed everything for the rest of the season. Nothing stood up to it really.
It hit heavy.
Nothing really, to be honest.
It hit heavy. If I had to say something that eventually stood up to it, was Solo Leveling.
Yep.
Solo Leveling,
which we will talk about that.
Show. I can't wait for season 2.
It was a straight up 90s style anime done now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the type of anime you got in the 90s. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was nostalgic for me.
Definitely, and like as Kobo just said, we just talked about Ninja Kamui. We're going to talk about Ninja Kamui. But before that, introductions. I have my boy D Zone with us.
What's up? Welcome back to the zone.
All right. Hey, my boy finally
got the welcome back to the zone. I like that.
He finally got his catchphrase, Kobo.
That's pretty good.
And then we have the one, the only, the godfather of anime, Kobo.
What up? What up? Welcome back, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Glad to have you. Excited to talk about the new animes that have come out this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty incredible.
A lot of bangers that came out this year. So,
oh yeah.
But without further ado, we're going to talk about Ninja Kamui. All right, this one's been a long time coming. We did go on hiatus because I was doing the convention circuit, but no more. So, no more for the rest of the year.
We almost included it in the first the first podcast that we did while it was airing.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. That's how big of a hitter it was. So let's talk about it. Ninja Kamui came out in January, and here's the thing: when it came out, when it was coming out and it was announced, no one knew anything about this project. No one.
Well, no, they knew a little bit because remember, it started to get fanfare when he dropped Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Yeah, but remember, like we just knew a title. We didn't know anything else, and then
nope.
And then we got the first trailer ever, like a few weeks before the show landed on Adult Swim.
No,
that was
everyone was hyped though because he had just gotten off Jujutsu Kaisen's first season and it had killed everything that year.
Mm-hmm.
Like it won anime of the year, and so like people heard that he was associated with it, and they were like, "Oh God."
Yeah, and if you guys don't understand who we're talking about the director who directed season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen, and then who he also directed the movie Jujutsu Kaisen 0. He didn't do season 2.
Park.
Yeah, he didn't do
Park is his name.
He didn't do season 2, which is fine. Season 2 was still amazing, but we found out why he was doing this project for Ninja Kamui, and he really brought back, as Kobo said, that 90s era feeling to anime while mixing in the new elements of anime.
There's only been a handful of anime in the last 2 decades that have truly captured the 90s, the 90s ultra violence, the 90s style, the 90s pacing. Jujutsu Kaisen is one of the top 5. in the last 20 years to capture that.
Mm-hmm. But when episode 1 aired, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I first watched episode 1, I'm like, man, look at all this goody two shoes nonsense and everything like that. I'm like, because the first part of it, all right, the first very instance of the episode, if I'm being completely honest, was and spoilers, you know how we do, whatever. But I'm not gonna spoil everything. You see these ninjas running down on this businessman. You're like, what is this about? Like, this dude is just minding his own business. They running this dude down, and take him out, and rip something off his head. You don't know, with some type of collar or something like that, and expose him to be some different person or whatever. But
yeah, like it was a hologram.
Yeah, but then as the story progresses from that point on, we get to who essentially becomes the main character and his family. And we see that, they're just living a normal life. He's a farmer and everything. And we're just like, okay, where's this? He's playing songs for his son's birthday. I'm like, where is this going? Where is this episode going? And then wham! Like, out of nowhere. It was wham. Out of nowhere. The same ninjas that took out the businessman showed up at his place, trying to take and took out his wife, his kid, and they essentially thought they took him out, but no.
And that's where the story takes off. That's just episode number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it gets so much
deeper. A lot
deeper
happens
so
in
quick.
that first episode, and you truly get to see, like, oh shit, this is a serious anime.
Mm-hmm.
On a side note, let's talk a little bit about Sung-Hoo Park and his previous works. Not just Jujutsu Kaisen. He actually was the director for The God of High School as well.
Yeah, I know. He's done a bunch of different stuff.
Man, God of High School was a rush, dude.
Dude, right?
I loved it. I really wish they made season 2.
Apparently they're working on it eventually, so we don't know when. But I will say this. It was strictly hands. Everything he does,
nothing but hands.
Everything he does, though, for the most part, I haven't seen otherwise. It's strictly hands. Like it's strictly combat. I'm gonna throw hands. I'm gonna give you these everything. Hands.
One of his earliest hits, bro, is one of your favorite animes, dude. I just found this out. He did Terror in Resonance, man.
No, he didn't.
He did?
Yep, he was a key animator in Terror in Resonance.
What?
Oh no way.
Yep. His first director deal apparently was Garo's Vanishing Line. A lot of people don't get in the Garo series because, they've been going on forever. It's sort of that Casern type vibe to it. They've been doing them for decades.
Right.
But he killed it. It's probably one of the best ones they've had out in the last 30 years. And so he stepped up to the plate and he's brought us nothing but gold from the start.
Man's about to be a legend in his own right.
He's already a legend, man. He just sealed it with Ninja Kamui.
Yeah, man.
Oh, heck yeah.
Ninja Kamui, here's my thing. And I enjoyed Ninja Kamui from the beginning. But I will say this. There was something that made me... There was some of it that was like... Man... Like, if you disagree with me, boys, that's fine. That's fine. But I felt like certain parts of it, when certain aspects were starting to be revealed, or new key items were starting to be added into the story, I was like, this is what I had in the beginning, and it fluctuated. Man,
there was some of the scenes and stuff in the show that kind of foreshadows like heavily, and then it happens, and it's like, I saw that coming, but still, ow.
Oh yeah, you have to understand the way he paced it out was an homage to the way that they did those animes early on. They were pretty transparent with their storylines. You were watching it for the entertainment value. The story was just an additional part, but he actually gave that story some meat, so it carried itself. There were points, obviously, where people are going to be like, that was just, that the story plots were too simple.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand, when you're doing an homage to that time period, you kind of have to follow up with the serious nature of it.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Back then, they had one philosophy really, and it was keep it simple. Because
it was be adult. It was be adult, not just keep it simple. It was, everything was adult back then. You got to think, you had Ghost in the Shell came out then. Think of the philosophical implications of that anime.
Yeah,
you know,
like if you're thinking about like 90s anime and how like before that transition to 90s to 2000s anime actually happened, 90s anime consisted of, and when we're talking about like violent 90s anime, that's adult 90s anime, because there's just a 90s anime in there like Dragon Ball, but even then Dragon Ball Z, that was blood. Like you saw Frieza bleed, you saw Goku bleed, you saw them scrapping.
Oh, yeah.
So what I mean is
people die.
Yeah, you see that grunginess that I've always talked about when it comes to 90s anime. They was about it. They didn't care how they looked. They just wanted the dub. That's all that mattered.
Mm-hmm.
It was about survival and getting the dub. An anime that portrayed that back then was Dragon Ball. Full Metal was one of them.
Full Metal, actually, no. Full Metal was the 2000s. But if you want to look at the grittiness, I'm early Rurouni Kenshin.
No, Rurouni Kenshin for sure.
Cowboy Bebop.
Android 007.
Yep, Cyborg.
Yeah, Cyborg 007, not Android. Sorry, Cyborg 007.
Angel,
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yep.
Just those classics. They was about it, bro. They was scrapping. They didn't care. Like, you broke an arm, oh well. You tore a limb, It was about mixing from the red.
Oh yeah, there was some even early Studio Ghibli movies that freaking had some of that grunginess into it. Princess Mononoke.
Yep, that was a big one.
One of my favorites, man.
Oh yeah, freaking guy shoots an arrow, rips off man's arms. Like, oh lord.
Or when they shot the kid who had the curse and he still kept going, but he was bleeding profusely. My man was about it. He was like, look, I'm saving her, all right? Y'all can shoot me all y'all want. Like, he lifted the gate with one hand. Like,
right.
You know, Berserk aired in the 90s. That was a late 90s anime.
Yes,
Berserk was.
And Berserk is, that's...
Hunter was actually a 99 one, but yeah, a lot of crazy anime came out in the 90s that kind of solidified what we would get in the 2000s.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So, back to Ninja Kamui, as it referenced and paid homage to that period. From episode 1, it showed that my man was a true ninja, weaving hand signs, taking names, getting bodies, like
freaking.
And he didn't care, bro. He was like, "Where they at?" He was like, "What?" I was like, and he remember he tortured the guy for the first half of episode 2.
Oh, he was pissed, dude.
He was so mad.
He was pissed, bro. He was like, "Why don't him like I'm not going to tell you anything. So why don't you just kill me?" He was like, "No, I'm not going to kill you, and I am aware you won't say anything, but I'm doing this for me." I'm like, "Yo,
like you to talk. I'm just here to feel better."
I know you ain't gonna talk. That's how you were trained. I know who trained you. But I'm here to enjoy this moment.
He didn't. That's the thing. He didn't care if he didn't care. He just wanted to feel. He just wanted to feel some type of better. And then when he finally let him rest, R.I.P. at his own discretion, he was like, "All right, time to go find out some information." My man was about it. He had burner phones. He had ninja equipment. He had the Oni mask, man. The Oni mask set up the whole thing, bro.
Just wicked.
Everything about how he carried himself was freaking wicked. He was like, I know I am top dog. Freaking at me, bro.
And here's the thing. You come to find out he's one of the best he was one of the best from the original Best Trio.
Yep.
And here's the thing. He they caught him off guard, but after that, my man was rumbling. He was wrong.
Dude, direct line of ascension in the group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was next in line to be the leader.
That's true. He was. I forgot about that. That's because they showed that they did the
Mhm.
backstory. And come to find out,
Mhm.
the whole trio he was a part of that was the best trio for their clan was actually his wife was the other one.
Mhm.
And she
his
was
best friend.
his best friend. And his wife was also in line to be the new next leader as well. Like it was between the two of them. And his best his best friend though? Bro, my man's a menace. Like he's a you think the main character is a monster, and which he is, but his best friend is equally as a monster.
Oh yeah, no, he's the yin to his yang, you know, absolutely.
And then like when they foreshadowed their fight, and then it actually happened, I think their fight was phenomenal. But I think their fight
was
became
super epic.
Their fight became one of the best fights when they lost the suits.
Mm-hmm.
That when the suits came off and they lost power in the suits, that's when the fight hit peak, in my opinion. And it was good before that, but like,
oh yeah, like it literally became the essence of freaking 90s fights with communication through fist. Like that's what got me with it. I was like, man, this stopped being just only epic, but it started becoming emotional, and I was like, dang.
He threw a little Kakashi versus what's Kakashi's friend? Toby in there. Obito, there we go. Threw a little Kakashi versus Obito in there. That's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe I got from that fight.
Oh, so, definitely, because it's like we had a plan for you. It's just stuff happened, you know.
But all right. So let me ask this: we know why the entire clan split. Like the clan didn't split up. But we know why the clan and a lot of the core members of the clan decided to leave the clan, even though that's technically was considered treason and taboo.
It's taboo.
But at the same time, the people that left considered what was happening inside the clan treason and taboo. So it's like, you know what I mean? Two different ideologies clashing. But which side did y'all agree with? If y'all had to answer, I already know what side I agreed with.
I agreed with Kamui's side, freaking, because the older way, the way that he and his wife were trying to make a reality would have been more honorable than let's just be out in the open and stop all of this by being oppressors. Like, no, that's not how ninjas work. That's not how they should work.
Yeah, ninjas are supposed to stick to the shadows, and and that's not what was happening after a while. And that's what I agree with the old way, because they at least the old way they were stuck to the shadows. They protected what they were supposed to protect. They did the assignments they were supposed to do. They only killed or did what was necessary. They didn't do anything outside of the norm. You know what I mean?
Well, the whole philosophy was this, is that they existed as a buffer between the people and the powers that be. The honorable way they did things was that they weren't beholden to any government. So, but at that time, even the old way had been corrupted because they just became government hitmen at that point.
Exactly.
And then he evolved it into try and be incorporated and just make money at it. Yeah. But the vision that the three had was something far more honorable, and had they eventually moved in that direction, it would have been the best of the three directions to go. They didn't want to be beholden to the government. They didn't want to be assassins solely without a soul. They wanted to continue to be that buffer for the people. That was the whole reason all three of them kind of like followed that path. Exactly. But the stringent rules that have been put in place by their direct leader kind of put them in that position.
Yeah.
And he was ruthless. I mean, the old way was honorable to a point.
But
you know?
but here's the thing: he started breaking codes that where he would. Here's the thing: the guy who was making one of the leaders at the time. He was actually like breaking codes himself, and he was a hypocrite. Let's be real.
Yep.
He was a straight hypocrite. Yeah. He was bringing in people from other countries and teaching them their ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like you just became a hypocrite. Like what? You went and joined a global American organization that was bent on world domination.
Oh yeah.
You have to understand his perspective though. What he saw is an increasingly international need for someone like that group. Yeah. And the identity that Japan had taken on was one of an international type situation. And so they were frequently already dealing with international groups that they had to deal with, but they had no presence outside of Japan. And so it made things difficult for them. So expansion was an inevitability if they wanted to continue to be protecting Japan's foreign interests as well as Japan.
True.
So, I mean, it was already headed in that direction in a way.
He just wanted to kick the pace up for that direction.
And not only that, he wanted to kick up the pace. Years. He wanted to kick up the pace, yeah, but he wanted to be in control of that. The sole control.
It almost had a dichotomy between the cultures themselves, where instead of being a group that did what was best, it became a corporate entity. And it was abandoning that honor, as you would say, for a more business approach. So, I mean, it had some cultural parallels that you could draw when looking at the capitalist systems that exist today.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And Japan's always kind of like struggled with that, you know?
So, yeah, man, like, it's just a lot that goes, or this anime encompasses a lot when you get into it.
Oh, wait. It has a bunch into it.
There's so much weight, man. There's betrayal. There's honor. Honor among assassins, honor among ninja, honor among thieves, honor. Like they even bring in future aspects like cyber technology, and then the fights, man. And then it's like old way versus new way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's part of this new movement, Sung-Hoo Park is, of Koreans who have broken into the industry, and they're just bringing gold, bro. They're bringing absolute gold. Like, when he brought in the God of High School, that was a Korean manhwa. So it was like...
It was.
I just finished reading it, and I was raving about it to Tone when they announced it, and we were just like, oh, God. Oh, God. We were so excited for it. So excited.
Yeah, no, I actually started reading God of High School before it became anime. And when it became anime, I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's how me and Kobo were. Me and Kobo was like that for two. For two. Two was Solo Leveling and
three. Tower of God, too.
Oh, yeah, Tower of God, yeah. So 3
We had hopped on Tower of God actually we had hopped on Tower of God way before it came out, but with God of High School and Solo Leveling, we had just hopped on them when they announced it. We had just finished it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and God of High School actually was still going on at the time.
That's because God of High School is so expansive in world. It's like literally, because it's multiversal. There's so many worlds within that series. Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
Well, it did the same thing Ninja or Tokyo Ghoul did, where it reinvented itself.
And not just
And
once, but a few times.
yeah, 3 times, 4 times. I only got up to the 4th time. I still have to catch up on that. But I mean, with everything that comes out, it's hard to keep up on everything.
Yeah.
Like, solo leveling's still going on. I didn't even realize that of all the new shit that had happened.
Like his story finished, but then now they talking about his kid. Like,
yeah, a whole new epic, and I love that sort of shit. But it happened with little fanfare, so I didn't even realize it was going on. I thought that whole thing was done.
Yeah, it's talking about his kid, and like, I don't really want to spoil it because I kind of
no, we're here to talk about Ninja Kamui. Let's get back to it, but definitely liking the Korean invasion that's going on in anime right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing the top of their game, and it's really revitalizing a lot of anime.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to Ninja Kamui, we already discussed how it started and everything, but when it started, it was like literally every time a new episode aired, it was available nowhere. The first few hours they aired, except Adult Swim. Adult Swim had the original airing rights.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
Adult Swim
I couldn't believe that they picked it up.
Adult Swim, and here's the thing: Adult Swim and Toonami are basically one and the same at this point. And that's been like that for years, all the way back to like
Cartoon Network,
Network, and the animes, as in like Rurouni Kenshin and everything. That's been like that.
Well, Adult Swim was what ended up taking over the Toonami segment, know, and it was like that anime block transferred over, and then when it started to change, he started that whole Adult Swim for adult animation,
exactly.
know? And so it immediately got segued into that. So, and it was beautiful.
Yeah. But with that being said, Adult Swim hasn't really, anime-wise, as far as I know, hasn't really jumped at an anime and gripped into it and said, we're getting the rights to air this first in a very long period of time.
Not in a decade, at least.
But that tells you just how good this was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, all right, we watched it. We won't let this happen. Like, and then the next day, and then after it aired on Adult Swim, every new episode, it was available 12 hours later on every other platform.
It blew up quick too.
Oh yeah.
And it's only what, 16 episodes? Is it 12 or 16?
Oh no, it's less than that.
I thought it was 13.
Is it 13?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember
13.
how many it was.
13.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 13. But yeah, no, that sucker shot up quick. Like, it went from like bottom of Hulu to number 1 within the first couple episodes.
Mm-hmm. And here's my thing. I love the way it began. I loved it all the way through. But I will say this. The ending hit me different than I was expecting.
Right?
I was not expecting that ending. So I don't really want to talk about the ending because I don't want to really spoil it. I want people to watch it.
Right.
But I'm like, and here's the thing. That ending was, I don't think a lot of people expected that ending because it blew up on Twitter. That ending was going crazy in the anime community on Twitter.
It was a closeout.
Yeah.
No one's used to having a solid closing of a story. So it's so rare when it's done, you're just like, but then you're left kind of somber because it's over.
Exactly.
So for some people, they were mad because they wanted more. But any good tale should have a beginning and an end.
Mm-hmm.
And anime today drags on the end for way too long. So when they close it out tight and clean, that's what you want. It becomes iconic and it becomes a benchmark for other anime.
Yeah, so If you're looking for something that's going to continue on, or something where especially for my new anime watchers, and when I say new anime watchers, I mean people who who started watching anime as it started becoming mainstream throughout the entirety of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not saying that those people are not legit anime watchers, because I feel like when it comes to anime, there is something for everybody, and it is perfectly fine to jump in wherever you jump in, but you have to pay respect to the originals.
Oh yeah.
You have to pay respect to the original titles. It is what it is. You cannot diss them, especially if you've never watched them. And you can have gripes with them. That's fine, but you have to pay respect, because there wouldn't be the newer ones that you're enjoying without these older ones. So that's number one. But with that being said, this anime and its style of animation and storytelling pays 100% homage to those other anime from the beginning, or from the 90s, that were some of the building blocks that paved the way for the newer anime today. So if you're going to watch it, you have to be ready to expect not the norm of what you're used to. That's all it is. You can't just go in thinking, okay, yeah, this is going to be like the anime, any other anime. It's not. It's not like Demon Slayer. It's not like what's some other anime? Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't think of something. Throw me a bone.
Well, it is, in a way, it is part of that new ninja resurgence of anime that Demon Slayer brought upon. You know, a lot of anime, they'd left that type of style and that type of storytelling behind, and Demon Slayer brought it back.
Oh yeah.
But this was the Ninja Kamui was sort of the first production that Sung-Hoo Park's new animation studio created. So it's his magnum opus of the studio right now. You know, so definitely a fantastic anime. I would say this is 100% a binge.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, and this is just my personal opinion, the best fights are definitely like, okay, there's like two fights that I did that were good, but I like they weren't as good as the fights when he didn't have the suit. The fights with every fight without his suit was phenomenal. I'm gonna just say that.
Well, yeah, the CG was it was less. I agree with you on that. The hands that were thrown without the suits were better.
Though the first time he did put on the suit, that fight was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the suit looked cool as fuck.
Yeah, it did. The suit was amazing.
But I'm super biased with character animation in anime. I really am, and I have a real high standard for it. You know. So and anime has been trying to find that nice balance between it. They did a great job, but I feel like the industry as a whole is still searching for ways to make animation cheaper, so they're not just completely destroying their animators, because that's what they've been doing for the past few years.
Yeah.
It used to be that these dudes had months, years to work on projects. That time is cut so small that they're burying themselves just to meet our demands. And 3D is a cheap alternative to getting a lot of those animations done.
Which is true.
That balance is hard to find.
Yeah, it's true. Because look what happened. Look what was going on with Mappa. They had so much project going on at once. They were zonked.
Oh yeah. That's what he worked for, that studio. That's where he did Jujutsu, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And God.
They a lot of the animators at Mappa got burnt out quick, man.
Well, I mean, across the board, not just the animators that are like barely surviving and working insane schedules. Like, I honestly think that's why he left and started his own studio. You know,
I believe that. I do.
So, I mean, I see it like this. I would be fine waiting longer for better animation and ensuring that the people creating the content are treated better.
Facts.
I can go a few years in between seasons if it means everybody gets to walk away happy. You know,
I agree with that.
But I mean, I grew up from an era where you went years between. Like, I think, God, I waited how many years? 10 years for Bleach to finish, and they're just now getting started on that. But they're doing it right.
They are doing
spending
it right.
their time. It looks great.
It did take them a good long while to get some new stuff with Bleach, though.
Dude, that shit. The anime ended in 2009. The manga ended in like 2015.
And we
They've
just
had time.
started getting Blood War. Not too long ago. We just started getting it on the
Yep. So, I mean, and I'm fine with that. They're doing a phenomenal job with the time that they've spent, the animation they're doing. I would argue that's one of the best Bleach seasons because they're spending the time to do it right.
Yeah. And you know what it is? They're effectively communicating, okay, this is going to take a little while. So when it's ready, we will let you know.
Demon Slayer's doing it the same way, dude. They're killing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing. I'm glad that they're doing that. Like, for example, One Piece is going on hiatus for 6 months.
Mm-hmm. And it's not the first time, bro.
It's not. But they announced it and let us know we're going on hiatus. We're providing you, in the meantime, we're providing you with updated animation for the beginning parts of it, cutting out certain things. Like, they're cutting out some filler, but they're basically redoing it. It's going in straight to Netflix to give you guys something to watch in the interim. But once it comes back, we're going to come back with even better animation. I'm like, you come back with even better animation than what you've already been dropping? Oh my god! Like,
Year 5 Luffy, the animation for anytime he goes there and has fights is just phenomenal.
Yeah, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. I guess I am happy, or I'm good with and happy with the fact that, and these studios and the projects that they're working on, they're like, okay, we're giving you guys a time frame of when the next thing is coming out, and we're not rushing because we want to give you guys quality. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. We want quality over quantity. And I think the industry as a whole is still trying to meet the demands of their investors, but the fans are like, hey, no, take your time. Take your time. And the only way we're going to get them to listen is to throw money at the projects that do take the time. Show the investors that taking that time and making that effort is more lucrative than just feeding us content as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because sometimes when y'all do, and y'all use up all the budget on one episode for god tier animation, then the rest of it's garbage. And we're like, what was the point? Like, I'd rather demigod tier animation throughout than god tier animation all used in one episode, and then the rest of it is horrible animation.
Well, the industry's going through a tough time right now. You know, it's gotten incredibly popular. Anime it's replaced all other styles of animation now. Really, Disney is nowhere near as popular and as it used to be. But now you've got all these everyone's. I see on my street. I see stickers of all sorts of anime characters on people's cars. Mm-hmm. So it's reached that pinnacle. And, you know, they're trying to keep up with a demand the studios have. And the studios have always had this problem. You know, they're not making as much money as they should. And so they're constantly rushing to do things in a cheap manner. Mm-hmm. And it ripples down through to the animators, and it affects the quality. And we need to somehow make it more lucrative for everybody by waiting.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, especially now that like anime is so big and widespread.
I would say
And we
renegotiate licensing fees to all the studios that are playing it. Crunchyroll, Adult Swim. Like there's tons of actual companies that are getting involved. Like God, what was the one? Sony. You know, William Street. Like all these major production studios that want to get involved. Charge them. Make that money off them. Because putting that stuff on, like, I can't tell you how many people went to go see the Demon Slayer movie. It's reached that point where people will go see these movies.
Mm-hmm.
We could have blockbuster anime. So, I mean,
Definitely
it's just a matter of time. But it's getting that transition.
It's kind of like it's kind of like back when. It reminds me of back when Naruto first came to the big screen, the movie. That theater, I went to that movie. That theater was packed. People and everybody was wearing headbands. I was like, yo. Like that, and it made me feel good because I'm like, I'm not, not to mention I'm not the only one. And it was like, which I knew that, but like, you saw how many people actually enjoyed the show. And it was one of the first times, or very few times, that an anime like that in its movie was on a big screen. You know what I mean? And it was like, and don't get me wrong, we already heard about it playing in Japan. We didn't know it was coming to America till they announced it. I mean, everybody scrambled to get a ticket. Everybody, like,
yeah. What they need to do is these major studios need to understand that what we enjoy watching has changed, and they need to either get with the program or continue to make less and less money each year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Netflix is caught on. Netflix is seeing what's up, and they're trying to get in on the money. They've got contracts, they've got licensing. You know, yeah, I think they need to be charging Netflix a hell of a lot more, and I think we need to boycott some of Netflix's animations if they're going to continue to push out studios. Mm-hmm. You know, there needs to be some way we need to make some accountability with our choices, though. So, yeah, community really needs to get tighter with things if we want it to change for the better.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
No, most definitely.
I mean, we all love anime. There's a middle ground that we're all going to meet at, that we're all completely passionate about it. And I feel like we could unify quite easily.
Oh, yeah. Like, there's tons of people that we could end up reaching just with our platform here that's going to want to make the anime world better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
But with that being said, go watch Ninja Kamui.
Definitely go watch it,
man. Go watch it.
Watch Ninja Kamui. Support the director and the artist involved. That's a good project, and it's a good company.
Mm-hmm.
If I could have given it 10 stars instead of 5, I definitely would.
So definitely go watch it. The ending might leave you wanting more or upset, but it's not without reason, because it's like, what did you say, Cole? Close off? It was. You said it was a close off.
It's a tight sealed closing.
They tie up the loose ends. They end the story. Yeah. It has closure.
Yes.
And there are animes that do that right are going to kill it. Everyone's super amped. Demon Slayer is going to have its closure soon, and we're all excited for that.
Yeah, we're all excited for that ending. And here's the thing: that manga has ended so long ago, but to see it animated, that's the excitement. That's the excitement.
Didn't it end in 2021?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, you can't always have run-on sentence animes that go on forever. I mean, a lot of people love One Piece, but God, One Piece has been airing for decades.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Naruto has had series going for decades. But if you look at the anime that everyone loves and cites, almost all of them have been closed out. You know, Bleach is closing out. They came back to finish it. Full Metal Alchemist, fantastic anime, finished story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I would like to see it more often in stories where they have a beginning and they have an end.
Yeah, give you some closure instead of continuously waiting to the new season, whatever it drops 3 years later.
Absolutely, a legacy stands stronger when it has a beginning and an end. You know.
And then sometimes it's easier to follow for people who are just getting acclimated to anime, because you could recommend you could recommend something without saying, yeah, they only have 2 seasons, they're working on the next one. It's not closed out yet. There's no ending yet. But yeah. So with that being said, like I said, go watch Ninja Kamui. It's a great watch. Definitely a binge. And basically just go see it for yourself. You could watch it on Amazon. You could watch it on Hulu. You could watch it on, I think Adult Swim still has a website. You can watch it over there. HBO Max, all those different websites.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely go enjoy it. But before we get out of here, you guys got anything to say? Any closing statements?
Nope.
I got one. I love this anime, and I want so many people to watch it just because I feel like it's a love letter to anime that really impacted me. Some of my top 5-10 animes all took place in the 90s, and I feel like some of the most iconic animes were done during that time period, and I felt like this was the closest I've seen in a long time that actually captured that ultra violence, that artistry, and it's one of the series I put it up there as one of our tops. Of all the series we've covered on Binge and Cringe, I love this series. I think everyone should go see it. That's all I gotta say about that one.
All right. Y'all heard the man. Go watch it. But yeah, I agree with Cobalt. Go watch Ninja Kamui. It's necessary.
But yeah, it is.
I even put Grim onto it. I don't know if he started watching it yet, but he said he's going to. So, trying to get that man to watch any anime, not in a bad way. Grim's actually been getting kind of hooked. But
yeah, no. Tone told me about it. Told me it was this week's theme. I binge watched that. I couldn't help myself. I binge watched it in less than a day. Watch every episode within 8 hours.
It's that good.
Imagine how we felt. We had to wait for that shit to air. Me and Tone would be beside ourselves just waiting.
Bro,
it would be a countdown thing where it'd be like, it's coming out this week, bro. This week. We'd be like, get all excited and shit.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. Before we get out of here, next week we are going to be doing a new episode. Actually, let me look. I don't think we've done this yet, but I'm gonna double check. Yeah, we definitely haven't done this anime, and we got to. Kobo, it's gotta be done.
What are you doing?
Eminence in the Shadow.
Yep. Oh, I'm excited about that one.
Oh,
Eminence in the Shadow is next week's episode. I was double checking to make sure we didn't do it because I couldn't remember, but we have not done it. Eminence in the Shadow.
I don't think I've completed season 2.
And you better.
I
mean,
think
not
I
everyone's
started
perfect, man.
fading
That's
away
fine.
from it because of how I will save my thoughts for it for the episode just because it's kind of a hot take.
That's
And I
fine.
really
Save
want
your
to go get
thoughts.
dinner.
Save your thoughts and opinions. Finish it though.
I know. I'll plan your assassination later. It's fine.
But Eminence in the Shadow must be talked about. Okay? So next week we will be doing Eminence in the Shadow for Binge and Cringe. I hope to see both
We're
of you
coming
gentlemen
back
there.
strong.
Yeah, and I'm
Oh,
inviting
yeah.
a bunch of people who've watched it. I'm going to see if they can make it, but we got to do it, and hopefully we can have Nullified join us next week if he's not stuck at work.
I know. He's got to be bummed right now.
Yeah, he messaged me and said he just got off like 13 minutes ago. He was pissed.
Oh,
So
right.
But
he
but
should have
yeah,
joined us over the phone.
yeah, I know. But he'll be all right eventually. He'll get over it. But yeah. So Eminence in the Shadow next week, boys. So we'll be here next week live for Binge Cringe for that episode. But as always, I'm your boy Ideal Tone, and I just made all of that known. And we will catch you guys later.
Laters.
Peace out.